Tonight, we're doing something truly special. We're about to break down a cultural phenomenon, one that's both magical and thought provoking, a story that asks us to reconsider who we really are and the power of friendship, freedom, and identity. That's right, tonight, we're diving deep into the world of Wicked. Now, we all know Wicked as the Broadway hit that was taking the world by storm, but the upcoming film adaptation, starring the incredible Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba and Ariana Grande as Glinda, promises to bring an entirely new layer to the story that's sure to spark even more conversation. But what is it about Wicked that resonates with so many? What deeper meanings lie within the spellbinding songs, complex characters, and the relationship between Elphaba and Glinda? Is it about power, rebellion, self-acceptance, or perhaps something more? In this episode, we'll be unpacking all that and more. We'll explore the film's themes of identity, morality, friendship, and the impact of perception of how we view others and ourselves. And we'll also get into symbolic significance of key moments in the movie and how it relates to the world we live in today. So, whether you're a longtime fan of the musical or just curious about the film, stay tuned as we embark on this magical journey together. Hey everybody, it's your girl Sherry and
Bria.
And welcome back to Alleged Actually podcast. Tonight we're doing something a little different. Tonight we are going to be talking about the movie Wicked. So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen it yet, go see it. I don't know what you're waiting for. And hop back on here and join this discussion. Bria and I wanted to do a deep dive. Wicked was a wonderful movie for so many reasons.
Yes.
And it lended itself to some different themes, to some things that I think, and Bria, it was actually Bria's idea, that warranted us having one of our deep dive conversations. It's actually many layers to the movie, and we wanted to come on here and talk about it. And I hope that you guys will slide in the comments and let us know what you thought of the movie and what were some of your interpretations of the movie and what it was trying to tell us. So, Bria, one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted you to kick it off. Bria and I went to go see it together over the Thanksgiving holiday, and we really enjoyed it. I think it came at a very much needed time, and I looked over and saw Bria getting emotional a few times. So I wanted her to kind of kick off and just talk about what the movie meant to her and her thoughts on the movie.
Well, first of all, amazing, 10 out of 10. Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, especially Cynthia Erivo, she did her thing in that movie. The emotion, the singing, she did her thing.
She did.
Give her all the Oscars, all of them.
Everyone, run it.
Everyone. But yes, the parts. Do you want me to talk about the parts that I got emotional at, or?
Just tell me your thoughts. I mean, if we're not there, when we get there, you can talk about it. But I wanted you to kick it off.
Okay. Well, yeah. I thought it was very nicely done. There were blaringly obvious parallels in today's society and the movie. So we definitely want to dive into that and I guess explore. And this movie is actually it's part 1, so there will be a part 2, and many of you know that Wicked is the prequel to The Wizard of Oz. And in the beginning you see Dorothy, the Cowardly Lion, Tin Man, and Scarecrow galloping through the fields because the Wicked Witch is dead. And then starts the movie with Glinda, or the woke version, Glinda. she comes in on her little bubble and tells everyone that the witch is dead. And then someone in the audience asks, "Hey, I thought you knew her though." And she was, it goes into the backstory of how she met Elphaba. So, but yes, amazing story. We see that Elphaba, or Cynthia Erivo, the one that played the character, she she had like, okay, so I'm trying to, how do you want to work this? Because I'm about to get into the whole thing
I
now.
want you to. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Okay, well, yeah, it starts off, we get the Wicked Witch, which is Elphaba, her backstory. Um, Starts off, her dad, we find out, is actually the wizard. They drink, and it's not the person that her mother was married to, so it wasn't a fair. They drink a green elixir, and then Elphaba was conceived. So
Yeah.
and so yeah, she was born, and she was born green, and of course, dad, mom, they're all freaked out, and he's like, get her out of my sight because she's green. And so she was raised by her nanny, who happens to be a bear, which we find as she gets older and her powers start coming to her. She goes to the Shiz University to hone, like, it's a university for sorcery, and so
Mhm.
she's going to hone her skills. And of course, like, there's one professor there. What is it? What was it? Dr. Dillamond? Who,
Mhm.
yes, who is a goat.
Goat. Mhm.
And the main theme throughout the movie is, the animals are being oppressed, and the wizard actually makes a point to say, what brings people together is having a common enemy, which was the animals. And I thought that was so, they used a goat, and then, like, as the animals were the scapegoat. I thought that was really cool how they
Amazing.
worked
Yeah.
that in. And I'm trying to like, okay, and then as the story goes, they get to see the wizard. They find out that the wizard is a fake, just a magician and a con man. And you know, they trick Elphaba into thinking that she's doing a spell that would help the animals. And
Mhm.
it ends up doing the exact opposite.
Hurting them.
It hurts them, and then they turn around when Elphaba sees that, because her whole purpose is going to save the animals. She wants the wizard's help to save the animals, but the wizard is, who she finds out, is the one that's behind all this. He's
Mhm.
the one that wants the animals out of here. So she figures out that, okay, well, if I'm going to save the world, I'm going to have to save it myself. And that is essentially how it ends, with her being the enemy. And Glinda, actually, because in the movie, Miss Marable, who was the person that wanted to take Elphaba under her tutelage, wasn't studying Glinda the whole time, because Glinda didn't have any powers.
She didn't have it.
But in the end, Marble takes her under her wing, because she's Elphaba's, a
She's
lot.
conforming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not right.
That
So,
Glinda's conforming in Elphaba. Yeah.
right, which all draws back to what we want to dive into. So, but before we do that, some fun things that I noticed. As I said before, it's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. And we saw the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, like, they were in the beginning, but they were also in Wicked. Like, they were, like, okay. So number one, the Scarecrow. In The Wizard of Oz, we remember how the Wicked Witch of the West put everybody under the sleep spell so that she could get Dorothy's shoes.
Yes.
There was one person that was not affected by that, and that was a Scarecrow. Now, we remember when Elphaba put everyone under the Poppy spell so that she could free the lion. First, okay, well, there was one person that did not fall asleep
Mhm.
during, and that was the handsome, brainless Fiero.
Yes.
And so he is who becomes the Scarecrow. Tin Man is Bach. If we remember that when Galinda politely said no thank you, when he was like, I want to be with you,
Yeah.
she folded his red handkerchief, that she politely said no thank you to and put it in his pocket, close to his heart. Now we remember that the Tin Man, his affliction is he didn't have a heart. And
Yes.
that scene symbolizes him losing a piece of his heart because Glinda rejected him. 3, this one is obvious. The lion that Elphaba and Fiera save turns, or the cub, he grows up to be the Cowardly Lion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool how they threw those little clues in there so that we know kind of what we're expecting in the next Wicked. We
Mm-hmm.
know that Elphaba's on her way back to to wreak havoc, or not even wreak havoc, but to make things right, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll see. Yeah, so we already kind of have an idea of how that's gonna play out and like the key players. Um, yeah, I guess I'm trying to. Now, do you want to deep dive into it, or do you want to
Yeah.
talk about?
I first want to say that Wicked has racked up opening weekend a history making $129 million. It's a global box office. It was the cinematic adaptation was done by John M. Chu. Um, can't say enough about the performances. There's already Oscar buzz, and rightfully so. Gosh, for me, I have always wanted to see it on Broadway, but never had an opportunity to do so. And so was looking forward to the movie. I love a good musical. Spoiler, it's a musical, but an amazing one. The voices of both, well, let's just say Cynthia. Let me just say the closing scene, Defying Gravity.
That was an emotional one for sure. Yes.
Definitely, it was for me just bone chilling. You would have to see it to truly understand. She was the heroine, Cynthia Erivo, for so many reasons to myself.
And
Um,
and
mhm.
she did her own stunts. So think about flying through the air on like some string holding you up and singing. That she did her thing.
She did
I
her
want people
big
to hear
one.
that throughout this whole. She did that.
Y'all, I can't, we can't say enough. Ariana Grande was good, but Cynthia Erivo was amazing.
Yes.
You go see it and you
You
have
have
to
to
give
see
it
it
to
to
us.
believe it. Yes.
You literally do. I loved the fact that Bria broke down the what we can expect in the next part, which is the Wizard of Oz. I thought it was just brilliantly done. I thought that it had a lightheartedness to it. It almost kind of had a hint of Mean Girls,
It did.
a
It
little,
did.
yes.
It's like
Ariana,
Ariana. She did. She added her own flair to Glinda, and so did Cynthia with Elphaba.
she
Like
did
they really made those characters their own, and
their own.
it's perfect.
It was that legal. It had a hint of Legally Blonde. There was a little bit of Elle Woods in Ariana's
Yeah.
performance. It was so well done. Now some of the things that are the deeper meanings that we want to talk about, some of the themes like, identity. First of all, what's clear and what's overwhelmingly obvious is the ideals of colorism, of being of Elphaba's mistreatment for the color of her skin, her being ostracized. But I feel like for me watching it, it was that because that was something that was of no fault of her own, which many of us of people of color have dealt with that. But it was also deeper. Just to me, just holistically being different, trying to fit in. She was in this school, but she had the gift. She had the gift of magic. And Ariana Grande, character Glinda or Galinda at first, before she, like Bria said, she became woke. It naturally came to her to be liked, to be popular, which was Ariana's big number, popular. Um, that was her superpower, if you will. Just her ability to be and people to naturally be drawn to her because of her beauty.
Yeah.
Also, with no, it's how she was born, and that was what she was accustomed to. Privileged, because of her look. And in societies, we see that as well. Um, our standards of what is conventionally beautiful, and I felt like it did it in a way that, it was certainly blatant enough, but fun
Yeah.
enough that it was a way that we could tackle a topic that certainly is a hot button, but also in a way that was shrouded in entertainment and in fun. Bria, what were your thoughts with the way that that was portrayed? I just think that in the beginning, she struggled.
Mm-hmm.
I also did want to mention the fact that the surrogate parent or the parent that raised her that happened to be an animal, that also plays a point in why she was so passionate about
Mm-hmm.
animals' rights. Who loved her, who nurtured her was an animal, Dulce Bear,
Mm-hmm.
and she was an advocate because it was they wanted the animals to no longer have a voice. And so that was the premise of why, she had this gift. She didn't even want it. How many times do you see people that are naturally gifted at something? They may want something. What she wanted, I think they both wanted what each other had. She wanted to be accepted. She wanted to be loved by her dad. She wanted to be accepted. She was very protective of her little sister, which we don't talk about, we hadn't talked about yet, but
Mm-hmm.
Nessa Rose. I will also say that this is the first time that, or one of the first times, it was noted that in some of my research that that a role that was designed to be special needs was played by a special needs actress. Um, so that was amazing. So you had representation in folks with disabilities. There was a lot of LGBTQ references and characters, which I thought was cool, and it was done, like I said, so well. I don't think that anybody could have not gone in that movie and felt unseen.
Right.
I think that for me, the moment that started to shift things was the night of the dance. And Glinda had given Elphaba a hat that her grandmother had made for her, which is the iconic witch's hat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she convinced Elphaba that this was going to go with her outfit. It was fashionable, and that's the power of the popular person. People go with what they think that those that are accepted would accept. She went. Her sister had a date with what was his name, Bria? And I also wanted to mention the Munchkins in this movie were not played by um, dwarf people that had dwarfism. They were played by regular or by people of short stature, but not. That was different. So they didn't portray them that way. That was also mentioned in my research. That was also a notable thing for some reason. But when her sister was going to go to the dance and she got the guy that she rejected to go with her sister Nessa
Mm-hmm.
Rose, it was Elphaba's way of thanking her to actually show up to this dance because Nessa Rose wanted her to help her thank her, instead of how she's always kind of come to her defense. And I'm rambling, y'all, but I'm trying to get to my point. So they go to the dance, and Elphaba shows up. Everyone, of course, starts to laugh because she has on this ridiculous hat. She tends to, there was a lot of imagery with the fact that despite her being so different in green, she wore black. She tried to fade in. The imagery of the movie was very dark, and she wanted to fade into that. Whereas in Glinda was in everything pink and light and bright. When she went to the dance, she being awkward, I think it resonated with people that weren't um, always comfortable in social settings, that felt awkward, that felt different, that
Mm-hmm.
tried to fit in, and their attempts fell flat when all they want is acceptance. It was extremely touching, y'all. And I don't know, like I saw Bria get emotional, and I, I knew why, or I felt like I might have known why. It was an emotional movie for so many, but it was open to your own interpretation as to why.
Yes.
And for me, it made me feel bad because growing up, I would have been more of on the Glinda side. Um, but there is a reason. There's also a story behind that. The girl that's popular, that's their identity. So they want to hold on to it. So a lot of times people that are in the proper social settings or popular want to hold that tight by ostracizing folks that they can't get into their group or club because it makes them feel less special. There are so many different things in this. And again, Elphaba had what she wanted. She wanted to be able to have the gift of magic, and she wanted what Glinda had. But the touching moment is when everyone laughed. It was also that she had spoken to the headmaster that had
Miss
taken Elphaba. I'm sorry, what? Miss
Madam Bull.
Marvel,
Yeah.
yes, and had convinced her as a thank you for getting her sister the date to the dance to give her that wand that we all see and it's so famous in the Wizard of Oz. That's her magic in the wand. And in order to thank her, I think that was it was the shifting point because they didn't like each other at first. They were roommates. We left that part out. They were roommates at the school.
Mm-hmm.
And when she did the awkward dance, a way for Glinda to help her is she recreated the dance with her, and then you see everyone then doing the awkward dance.
Absolutely.
It resonated for so many reasons. Brie, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, yes, it was a very touching scene for me because I don't, mm, awkward in the way that, like, I'm very shy. I don't like a whole lot of attention on me. And then, just seeing her do those motions through tears, and it hit me hard. And essentially, that's why I think Cynthia Erivo, because when I say I want to buy another ticket so I can watch it without crying the whole time,
Yeah.
I want to buy another ticket.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
But
it's one of
yeah,
those you can
like,
see it twice
yes.
easily.
But yes, the shy, awkward girl definitely it resonated
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
And then yes, the pretty girl, the pretty popular girl who comes over and saves the day is so reflective of a lot of things. But yeah, it just it got to me. It did.
It
But
did.
that's why, because I felt it was the awkward shy girl in me that saw
That
her and that
resonated with
felt
how what she yeah, that resonated what she was going through.
yeah.
So, one of the core themes that we're talking about is defying societal expectations, questioning the labels that society imposes on individuals. And like we said, Elphaba, being born with green skin, was ostracized for her appearance, while Glinda, conventionally beautiful by society standards, is embraced. This contrast highlights how people are judged and valued based on superficial characteristics like appearance and how societal norms can be limiting and unjust. And the story critiques that idea. And that's what we really like that. Because it's nothing is just as it seems in this movie.
Mm-mm.
I thought another really interesting I want to talk about this too. So, self identity and empowerment was another overpowering theme. Elphaba's journey is deeply tied to self acceptance and empowerment. And
Mm-hmm.
despite being labeled as wicked, she refuses to let others define her. Hence, the closing scene of Defying Gravity. Y'all, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
telling you. Um, she ultimately embraces her own sense of identity and power. Her story is about finding the courage to live authentically, even when society rejects or misjudges you. Glinda's journey also involves growth and self awareness. And she starts off as the popular girl who values external beauty and approval, but over time, she learns the importance of standing up for what's right and understanding the complexities of those around her. What did you think of that, Bria?
Did she understand that though? Or
I
did she
think
understand it to the extent that, this could get me what I want?
I think no. In my opinion, I think that when she went with her and saw what Elphaba went through, but I think her fear. of busting through what society says is okay is what held her back. There was a moment when Elphaba asked her to come with her,
Mm-hmm.
and you see longing in her face, like, I wish I could be as brave as you. That's a real thing. You know, if you ever look at the people that say, well, gosh, I admire you. I could never do that. People that have to play the safe role, or, be the person that doesn't break out, that does what everybody expects them to do. That, I mean, I resonate with that. I mean, not that I always have, so let's just be clear. No. But I'm not, and I would be considered more of the safe one versus a sibling that was one that just busted out and did her own thing. I mean, those that really know me know what I'm talking about. But I admire that.
Yeah.
And um not so much that I would have chosen to do those things, but sometimes those kind of ideals hold you back. And I think that that's what it's talking about in that scene when Elphaba realizes, I'm going to give myself this power. I want to fly. And she thinks it's going to come in the same form as it did with the flying monkeys, where the wings busted out of their backs. And that's why you get the flying monkeys, because the wizard told her that they would always watch the birds, and that's what their desire was, which was not true. And in order to achieve that, it was painful for them. And then she decided to do the same spell on herself, which is that's how she gets the broom. That is her ability to fly. And she asked for Glinda to go with her. And you see for a moment where it seems like that she considers it, but the fear pulls her back. And so that's what I took from it. But again, y'all, slide in the comments. We want to hear what y'all think too. Um, that's not what you got from that, Bria?
No.
Okay. And that's fair. That's why this is open discussion.
Because even after seeing all of these things that are taking place, they tricked her into, the flying monkeys. They want to harm the animals. They don't want to help Elphaba. They have turned her into an enemy where they've sicked the flying monkeys on her. She knew all that, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna still go with them." Like,
Okay.
I don't,
Fair.
nope, I don't
No?
think.
Okay. You weren't feeling it? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, y'all out there, y'all slide in the comments and let me know your thoughts. What did you gather from that? One of the other themes that is discussed in the movie is the complexity of good and evil. Nothing, like we say, is exactly as it seems. So, you know, they paint Elphaba out to be the wicked witch, to be the evil one. And wicked is determined to blur the lines between good and evil. She's portrayed as wicked, like I said. And then they also, in contrast, there are characters like not just Glinda as good, but the wizard that was supposed to be able to grant, he was revered and he was supposed to be able to grant, your biggest wish, which in reality, no, he could not. He really had no power, y'all. That's what's so crazy. He appears to be a symbol of authority and goodness, but he's shown to have morally questionable motives. And the story encourages viewers to reconsider black and white notions of morality and understand that actions are more complex than what they first appear. And it asks, can someone be wicked because they challenge injustice, or is their defiance what society labels as evil? So, I mean, we could talk about that in this day and time easily. We're not going to hold you because that's not what this channel is for. But
But yeah.
listen, there's a lot of parallels. We're going to let you do that math, okay? And one of the biggest, I think, themes that it's talked about, and Bria's going to probably disagree on some, but we're going to talk about it nonetheless, is the power of friendship and loyalty, okay? So the relationship between Elphaba and Glinda is central to Wicked. We know that. They meet, well, in the beginning, that someone asked, did she know her? And she has to go back and tell the story of how they met at school. They were roommates, placed together, did not like each other at first, but in time grew together and became friends. It represents the complexity of friendship, especially in a world where power dynamics, expectations often put people at odds. Despite their differences, they share a deep bond and their friendship evolves as they grow and learn from each other. That I think happened. Bria, did you not see their relationship grow? I mean, there
I
was
did.
even the time
Yeah.
where they swapped stories about important things that had happened to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, yeah, that I did see. I did see the dynamic switch. I do think that she genuinely cared for
Mhm.
Elphaba, but I think
Mhm.
that she cared more about her image and the powers that they could, or that like what she could get from them and what she get out of Elphaba too. I'm sorry.
Fair.
I think Glinda is fake as they come. Like,
It's
I think,
so
yes, I do think that she had a teeny tiny spot in her cold heart for Elphaba. Yes, I do. I do. Damn it.
okay. So yeah, Bria's not a fan of good old Glinda, but it
I'm
does talk
not. I'm
about
sorry.
I think that she was complex. I think that, again, I think that both of them were put in places they were by no fault of their own. And though, yes, because it seemed as though Glinda had the better life, the better opportunity because she was given the privilege. Um, she didn't ask for it. And even you saw her how she had no depth when she couldn't understand what it felt like to be rejected. Um, when it was clear that he was really checking for Elphaba. I say the prince. What's his name, Bria?
Fiero.
Fiero. He was not a prince. I mean, that was the implied that he
Mm-hmm.
was. But yes, no, he becomes the scarecrow, actually. But he was honey, he was Glinda's love interest. She was about that business to get that man. And as the story unfolded, it was he did not fall asleep, like Bria said, when she put the Poppy's spell and everybody fell asleep in the class, but him. And him and her were able to rescue the lion cub. And in that moment, he started to have affections for Elphaba, and then in turn, Glinda started to feel rejection, and she even made the comment that must be how others feel. It was this net, it was this self absorption to the point of delusion, and there are people that suffer from that, and it also says it touches on the idea that people can take different routes to finding their own truth, but their paths can still intersect in meaningful ways. And so, with that being said, despite Glinda's downfall of being self absorbed, privileged, mean in the beginning, the two of their friendships intersecting together helped them grow to what their individual journeys and what they wanted. So, what did you find in the movie that spoke to friendship, loyalty? Because that is a big theme of Wicked.
I think, well, the dancing scene is, well, it started the friendship, I would say. But it was a beautiful thing to see her, because she knew that if she mirrored those dance moves, people would do it. Like,
Oh yeah, she knew
that is
what she was
that
doing.
is the power that she had. She could make
Absolutely.
everybody, like, she was influential.
Right.
And yeah, but yeah, it was that part, and that was a very touching moment. um the popular song, and I thought that it was a really cool take on it, because in the original, Elphaba, she's like extremely disinterested. She doesn't want to be popular. But then in this one, it's like she's intrigued.
Yeah.
And I feel like it puts a more realistic spin on it, because who doesn't want that? Like, what
Right.
girl who has been ignored and misunderstood her whole life doesn't want that? Like,
Absolutely.
you want to, you know, but then also the parts in the song where still you see the parallels, where it's like, yes, like I want to like help you be pretty and this, but not as pretty and popular as me though.
Right.
So
Because that was what
you know what I'm
but
saying? Like,
but again,
but
remember
all that side
I
still.
agree, but
But
that's all she had. There's a small, when you have it, honey, those kinds of things are fleeting. And
yeah.
so that was her way of saying, I know how I can give back. I can help you.
Hmm.
I can give you a taste of what I've got. But yeah, you're right. She don't want her to take her spot. You feel me?
Right. Right.
So I found it, and that
There
to
are
me is
levels.
like,
Right.
it's levels, right? There's levels to this stuff, y'all. I mean, that's where I saw kind of almost like it it reminded me of oh gosh, Clueless when they did the makeover, or there were so many, all those movies that we loved in like the 90s where you have the blonde heroine, or it was very
Hmm.
reminiscent of
Hmm.
that, I think.
No, and I do. I believe that that was extremely intentional. Like the
It was
optics. I mean, you got this extremely pale. I mean, they're both really skinny, but
they're
extremely
tiny, and that was
pale.
on purpose too, because when you would see them face each other, they're diminutive, they're small in stature, almost identical. That was on purpose.
Yeah,
Yes.
but yes, I mean the of course, and she's always in these bright colors, pinks, and it's the what do they call it? The halo effect, or the where there's really no. I mean, people are going to see that and associate goodness with it
Right. That's the point.
because of what has been ingrained in us too.
That's
So,
exactly
and
right.
yes, and it does. It makes you take another look. Be like, why do I think this girl is so great? Because she's not. She's
But she's
big.
not. But that's
Like,
the point of the movie, though. She didn't have what Elphaba had. She didn't. And she couldn't even land the guy when it came down to it. It wasn't what it appeared to be. And I don't know about you, but you walk in and you see and you think, dang, you watch the movie, but you walk out of the film feeling empowered.
mm-hmm,
The underdog, the
mm-hmm,
green girl, the girl of color, the
mm-hmm, yeah,
misunderstood girl, the girl that no one wanted to be bothered with,
mm-hmm,
came out like, bump all, I don't need it. I have found my voice, and it was
right.
very inspiring.
Yes,
Who knew?
yes. It's like all of this time, you're using, or not using, but getting Belinda's help on, being confident and being that girl, and then the wizard who ain't got nay power. You were gonna
Nothing to give
rely
you.
on his power, and all along, you were that girl this entire
That
time.
part,
You didn't need not now one of them.
that part,
And
that
it
part.
was. I cried like a baby on that part too. I did because it
Okay,
was
because
so beautiful. It was a
was
beautiful
it not? And I mean, I think that speaks to all of us, and for all of you out there, you already have everything that you need
movie.
equipped
Yes.
right inside of you. And it was so inspiring to watch. And that was the biggest takeaway. And my final note is the final anthem, Defying Gravity, is an emotional declaration of her decision to live authentically and free herself from the constraints that others have placed on her. It embodies the theme of rejecting oppressive labels and embracing one's true self.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just tell you, if you don't feel chills or feel something, honey, I can't tell you why. Listen, and look, also, let me just say, don't let the 2 hour and 40-minute time frame scare you away.
No,
You
because
will
you want
not.
more. You'll want more,
You'll
honestly.
want more.
Mm-hmm.
You will want more. It is thoroughly entertaining. It is inspiring. It is deep. It makes you think. It makes you reflect. It is all the makings of a big Oscar hit. And I am here for it.
Mm-hmm. And we
And
are
we
all
want
watching. We will all be watching. So y'all
out.
better not do it.
Absolutely.
Y'all better not, because
Don't do
mm.
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's too many eyes on it.
Right.
We see you. Okay. We have big expectations, and
Mhm.
it listen,
Give her the things. Give her all of them, please.
she took them. It's just a
Mhm.
matter of formality. Okay.
Yes.
So, Bria, closing remarks.
Um, like I said, 10 out of 10. Great movie. It was emotional for me, but I want to buy another ticket so that I can watch it again without crying through most of the But yes, and I feel like as women, but women of color, we defy gravity every day. And so I would like to know in the comments, women, I guess, of all races, because I know we have of all races up
We
here.
all have our things. Sure.
How did you defy gravity today? Let me know.
I love that.
Yes. Me, male dominated field. I work in finance and I kill it. How did you defy gravity today, Mom?
I defy gravity because I am also in a very male dominated field. I am a seasoned operations manager. A lot of the strategy and behind the scenes moves I make and I advise. And I started out my journey. I work for the federal government, by the way, as a secretary, as the position where they think that you should be cute, quiet, wear something nice, stand behind that powerful man that's your boss,
Mm.
only to have broken that glass ceiling and become the boss in my own right. That part, ladies.
Period.
Every day, do something to help defy gravity because you're only thing that ever holds you back is your lack of believing in yourself. And on
Yes.
that note, I think Bria, we our job here is done.
It is.
Go see
Go
Wicked.
see
Go
it.
see it, and then go see it again.
Yes. Because you'll cry the first time and it's just, it won't get. So go get 2 tickets. Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
to, get to. Take a friend. Take a daughter. Take a sister. Take a friend.
Yes.
All right, guys. We love you as always. If you haven't yet, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and please slide in the comments. We want to hear from you. We want to hear, for those of you that have seen it with us, like us, answer Bria's question. How have you defied gravity, ladies? And let us know what you thought about the movie. And if there was a theme that maybe we didn't get, slide in there. Let's talk about it. Remember, talk to us because we'll talk back. We read the comments. So slide in our comments, guys, and let us know what you thought of Wicked. And thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. Again, if you haven't yet subscribed, we're trying to get to our next goal of 6K subscribers by Christmas. What a great Christmas present that would be.
No, like we literally last Christmas, what we at, like our first 100.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Jeez.
Thank you. Thank you. It has been an amazing journey. And perhaps this is how we defy gravity a little bit. What started as a conversation has become a real thing. And we have worked hard, learned a lot along the way, and still learning, honey, still learning and perfecting, and always happy to continue to try to improve. We both enjoy this. This has become a labor of love. We'd like to come before you guys and talk about shows we love, this movie, other topics and things. And we appreciate all of you for taking time out of your days and nights and watching us and subscribing and supporting us. So thanks so much. And again, guys, go see Wicked.
Yes, go see it.
All right, guys, we love you. Good night. Oh, join me back over here this week when I do with my Bravo bestie Joey recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is about to start in just a minute. So you guys watch that. And Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're either going to be dropping that on Thursday night or Friday. So you got to stay tuned and hit that notification bell so you'll know. All right, guys. We love you so much. Good night.
Night.
Bye.